Welcome to NEXTGames Odyssey series. This video covering the Shield JLNM U Bnai on the Vengeance 10 difficulty. Now in this video I'll first start by discussing RP farming strategies and kind of what I have in mind here for the rest of this series. And then I'll show you a battle example against U Bnai on the Vengeance 10 difficulty. This time with Red Mage. Now the future of the Odyssey series is at this point now going to be devoted to Vengeance levels alone. Now the higher Vengeance level that you attempt a run on, the more RP you will get. So I felt that it was important to showcase the differences between these different Vengeance levels so that people could best gauge where they may take on the content with their group or solo play and get the most for their RP. Now if you are new to Odyssey and would like to know more about the specifics of these NMs, please check out my videos already covering them in detail earlier in the series. Now first, let's recap our last two encounters with U Bnai and how those went. On the Vengeance 0 difficulty, I did 1002 Alliance DPS and killed it in 4 minutes on Summoner. The boss had approximately 250,000 hit points. Now on Vengeance 5, I did 1885 Alliance DPS and killed it in 5 minutes with Ninja. The boss had approximately 500,000 hit points. This earned us 68 RP. Now for my Vengeance 10 run, I chose to change it up and take the boss on with Red Mage, thinking it should take me around 10 minutes. On Vengeance 10, I did 1113 Alliance DPS and killed it in 11 minutes, so just over what I estimated. The boss had 720,000 hit points, which was a little strange as yesterday's Atonement 1NM had 900,000. This earned us 192 RP, so almost triple the amount that we earn from Vengeance 5. Now this means I'm expecting Vengeance 15 to have around 1 million hit points with this particular NM. So if we are going to have any hope of taking this on solo on the Vengeance 15 difficulty, we are going to need to find a way to get back above 1500 DPS to finish in time by my estimation. I will be attempting this next week and will report back on my progress. Now let's discuss what went wrong and what went right in this particular Vengeance 10 run with Red Mage. Now, yesterday one of the biggest issues I encountered is I spent way too much time buffing with Red Mage. I buffed myself and all of my trust before we ended up charging into battle. It ended up taking almost 3 minutes, and I ended up finishing the run with less than a minute to go. So in hindsight I learned that I really should not be spending that much time buffing, especially since we are earning RP every hit point that we reduce. So this time I cut my buff time in half from yesterday's, shaving a minute and a half by not bothering to overbuff myself or buff my trust at all before engaging. I also fought the boss at the top instead of using 20 seconds or so to pull him down to the bottom, since I'm in no real danger of dying on this one. Now these may seem like small changes, but when we get to Vengeance 15 runs, every second is going to count, as even if we can't kill the boss in time, the amount of hit point we remove will still possibly grant us more RP than a full kill on a lesser Vengeance level. I'll get into how that works in a moment. The second thing we learned from our first Vengeance 10 solo run yesterday with Red Mage is that we really needed to have a specific gear set just for Odyssey, where we needed to have the fact that we wouldn't have a sub-job available in mind. This set focuses on multi-hit and store TP as opposed to dual wield and spell damage and DT reductions. Now this seemed to have a positive impact on our TP gain and our overall DPS, as we were able to easily skill chain for the first half of the run and have Matsui P add in good amounts of MP damage. However, Joachim eventually started giving me crap songs, and therefore we were no longer haste capped, and the ability to skill chain became much less reliable, and therefore Matsui P was able to add much less damage in. Additionally, we started getting silenced by the AoE moves that the boss was using at several times during the fight, which also reduced Matsui's P's damage. Otherwise, we were on track to have probably 1200 to 1300 DPS for this run. Now it's not quite the 1500 we're shooting for, but it's definitely much better than yesterday's 1000 DPS showing. I also think it would be better to use Omia from now on, as I seem to have this issue quite commonly with Joachim when I'm on Red Mage. Now let's go ahead and briefly talk about how RP is earned on the different Vengeance levels. Now in Vengeance 0, you don't get any RP, so you get nothing for that first clear you get. Vengeance 5, you get 68. A Vengeance 10 clear, 192, and Vengeance 15, 392. Now in yesterday's video I did mention a Vengeance 20. I have since learned, thanks to Simon Says, that does not exist. So sadly, Vengeance 15, 392 RP is going to be the maximum that you can get per run if you defeat that NM. Now RP is earned as a boss hit points decreases, so you don't actually have to beat him in order to earn RP. but you also do not get an exact percentage of what you take away in hit points. So let's look at the formula for RP so we can understand exactly how this works. So the formula is 0.4 multiplied by the RP needed for the last R level. So for a rank 15 NM, that's going to be 980. For rank 10, it'll be 480. And for rank 5, it'll be 170. Then you need to multiply that by the amount of hit points you remove. So it's at 50%, put 0.5. And if you remove 80%, put 0.2 here. And then you divide all of that by 2. This means the total RP we would get if we took a rank 15 NM down to 50% is 98 RP. So that would be more worthwhile than killing an R5 NM at 68 RP, but not more worthwhile than killing an R10 NM at 192, or almost double what we would get for 50% of an R15. So while partial kills can at least still get you a chunk of the RP you need, it's not going to be your most efficient method for farming RP. So ideally, you're going to want to identify the vengeance level that you can reliably beat within 1 minute or so of remaining and constantly do that run for maximum RP. It's my hope that this series will help people narrow in on those vengeance levels and exactly which one they should be taking it on. Now, for this particular battle example you're seeing, for trust selection we're using Arkiv to tank. He does very well in these Atonement 1 NMs. Matsui P for Magic Burst. We're using Joachim for marches, but as I said, I definitely think I should use Ulmia in the future with this configuration. And Monborough and Kupipi for cures. Let's go ahead and see what the last half of this run looks like. Enjoy the rest of the run, everyone. That's going to be it for U Bnai and a brief explanation of how RP farming works. I hope you found that helpful. In the next video in the series, we're going to be taking on the next Vengeance 10 NM, Sigilli. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.